What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Congress is completely disabled as Republicans are considering possibly electing former President Donald Trump to speakership of the House. Right now, it's complete chaos as they literally almost got into a fist fight. You can see here Republican Representative Graves says, quote, "You would have seen fists thrown if lawmakers didn't have a recess after they ousted Speaker Kevin McCarthy, as only 8 Republicans literally caused this, what they're calling out a coup from these 8 Republicans who sided with the Democrats to oust Speaker Kevin McCarthy. Take a look here at what Speaker Kevin McCarthy said.
One thing I will tell you is doing the right thing isn't always easy, but it is necessary. I don't regret standing up for choosing governance over grievance. It is my responsibility. It is my job. I do not regret negotiating. Our government is designed to find compromise. I don't regret my efforts to build coalitions and find solutions. I was raised to solve problems, not create them. So I may have lost a vote today, but as I walk out of this chamber, I feel fortunate to have served the American people. I leave the speakership with a sense of pride, accomplishment, and yes, optimism. From the day I entered politics, my mission has always been to make tomorrow better than today. I fought for what I believe in, and I believe in this country of America. My goals have not changed. My ability to fight is just in a different form. You need 218. Unfortunately, 4% of our conference can join all the Democrats and dictate who can be the Republican speaker in this House. I don't think that rule is good for the institution, but apparently I'm the only one.
Take a look at what Republican representative from the House, Graves from Louisiana, just said, which is pretty shocking. Take a listen here.
Congressman Garrett Graves of Louisiana. For the record, he voted to keep McCarthy as Speaker yesterday. Congressman, thanks so much for joining us. When asked last night if your party can decide on a leader by next week, you said, hell no. Do you still feel that way now? Because your party, my understanding, is scheduled to vote a week from today.
The party is scheduled to vote, and I think that what's going on right now is that I think people are going home, letting tempers decompress a little bit, coming back together starting on Tuesday, going to do a candidate forum and have people that are interested in the speaker's role talking about their candidacy and what they want to do, and then ideally a vote's on Wednesday. But I want to remind you, Jake, going back to January, even without all the sore wounds then, it took 15 votes to finally elect a Speaker of the House. I think you have more raw emotions at this point, and quite frankly, I'm not sure why anybody would even want the speakership right now, and that the position really lacks stability.
Who do you think should be Speaker? I mean, your fellow Louisianan, Steve Scalise, obviously is running. And who do you think the 8 Republicans who voted to oust McCarthy might support?
Look, I think that some interesting dynamic is anyone who they come out in support of, I think, is gonna cause a lot of other Republicans to really have a distaste for, and so it's a very interesting dynamic that we're seeing right now. Look, there are a lot of good people who have thrown their name in the ring, but I've been very clear that we're not going to make a commitment right now. Obviously, any speaker from Louisiana would be fantastic, but I want to be clear, we're not going to make any commitments right now at all, and here's why. I think one of the first things you've got to do is you've got to actually establish stability to the position. The fact that any one person can come out and can effectively cause this motion to vacate is totally inappropriate. Jake, you know this. This is third in line to President of the United States. We don't need to have the kind of chaos and instability that we saw yesterday.
So you need, as a pledge to get your support, somebody who says, we got to get rid as a conference. We have to get rid of this one-person motion to vacate because it makes everything unstable.
I think what would make sense is two different things before we even get into the speaker's race. Number one, within the Republican conference, there's a rule already that Matt Gaetz violated yesterday that prohibits any one person from bringing up a motion to vacate. The problem is the rule doesn't have any penalty or enforcement action. Secondly, I think the conference should come together and change the House rules to raise the threshold on a motion to vacate above just one. I mean, think about this. Again, third in line to the President of the United States. We don't subject the President or the Vice President to that type of low threshold. The United States needs to have more stability than we saw yesterday.
Do you agree with Congressman McHenry's decision? He's the temporary speaker, the Speaker pro tem, to put a pause on the week to let tensions settle?
Jake, I'll be really candid. I think if we had stayed together in the meeting last night, I think that you would have seen fists thrown, and I'm not being dramatic when I say that. There is a lot of raw emotions right now. I think it was best to let folks go back home, decompress a little bit, and then come back together.
You were yourself pretty passionate on the floor yesterday, expressing some of your disgust. Let's roll a little bit of that clip.
What's going on in this country today? What's going on in this body? Where you have Freedom Works, Heritage, Chip Roy, and Jim Jordan say something's conservative, and these folks say it's not, and they're right. And all of a sudden, my phone keeps sending text messages. Text messages saying, hey, give me money. Oh, look at that. Oh, look, give me money. I filed the motion to vacate. Using official actions to raise money. It's disgusting. It's what's disgusting about Washington.
This afternoon, your fellow Republican Congressman Mike Lawler of New York said he supports removing Congressman Matt Gaetz from the Republican House Conference. I assume that's who you were talking about on the House floor in that clip. Do you agree? Do you want to remove Matt Gaetz from the House Republican Conference?
Look, I think that would be one of the most unifying actions of this House. However, I also think it's really important to not just think about step one, to think steps 2, 3, 4, and 5. And in this case, with the slim majority that you have, while there are people that are drooling for that to happen, that just isn't a viable path forward right now. But I do think that some type of penalty or punishment for what he did. And look, let's be really clear. You had eight Republicans that came together yesterday with 208 Democrats. So effectively, this was a Democrat eviction of Speaker McCarthy and really didn't represent the true position of real Republicans yesterday.
Wow. Let me know your thoughts on this. In fact, Republicans are actually taking revenge on some of the Democrats after McCarthy's ousting for voting with the 8 outcast type Republicans. Take a look here. Yeah, the Republicans are really, really pissed off. Yeah, the moon cave after the new temporary speaker, pro tempore Patrick McHenry, exacted some swift revenge, booting Speaker Emeritus Nancy Pelosi and former House Majority Leader Steny Hoyer from their hideaway offices in the Capitol. These kind of extra offices that they have. And called out Pelosi, who's in California, for the funeral of Senator Dianne Feinstein, claiming she failed to keep a promise made during his 15-vote battle for the speakership to back him if his members ever sought to vote them out. Quote, it's fairly petty stuff. And the odd thing for me is we're getting blowback from moderate Republicans who really could have fixed this internally months ago and should have fixed it months ago, but they're mad. They're mad at Democrats now for not bailing out McCarthy. I find it frankly immature, said Representative Glenn Ivey, a Democrat from Maryland. Quote, this is their caucus, their internal voting, their internal meetings. It's really incumbent on them to take care of their own problems and take care of their own internal civil war. Graves, who we just showed, vented to reporters saying his colleague Matt Gaetz, who spearheaded the movement, was played by Democrats. Let me say it again, the House of Representatives is frozen. It's frozen because Matt Gaetz was played like a drum by Representative AOC and Nancy Pelosi and others, with just 8 Republicans getting together with 208 Democrats. Every single Democrat in this chamber threw out the Speaker of the House with only 8 so-called Republicans. End quote. Yeah, so we got some major problems. And then don't forget that just in 45 days, the continuing resolution ends and we go to another government shutdown, which could be a prolonged government shutdown because Republicans can't even agree, let alone getting Republicans and Democrats to agree, which doesn't seem very likely. Yeah, and don't forget that Republicans want some massive, massive deep cuts, which Democrats don't really want. Um, so look out because there's going to be some massive fireworks and huge fighting. So I'll keep you up to date here. If you haven't yet, subscribe down below. Click the bell icon so you don't miss out on any new videos. I'll keep you up to date here with everything going on here in our country that you need to know about. If you haven't yet, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Click here to see info on why Donald Trump could be the next Speaker of the House, or click here to see my newest video next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you in the next video.